Since the Wright brothers' first flight in 1903, air travel has come a long way. Though there are rare accidents, traveling by plane is much safer than traveling by car. And more people are taking to the skies than ever before. But some aircraft are more than a simple means of transportation. Many airplanes are so large they dwarf virtually everything else in the sky. From Soviet bombers to jumbo jets, we are counting down the top 10 biggest planes in the world. One of the largest planes in the world technically falls under the umbrella of largest aircraft in the world, because it's not a plane at all. The Mi-26 is the world's largest helicopter. The Russian-built aerial monster has roots going all the way back to the 1970s. The Soviet Union was looking for an ultra-heavy lift device to move supplies from base to base. They succeeded with the Mi-26. This helicopter can handle as much as 20 metric tons in a single flight, far more than any other chopper in the sky. Now, decades later, the Mi-26 is still in commission, both for military and civilian purposes. It has been used in the case of many terrible disasters, such as Chernobyl. 30 Mi-26 were used for radiation measurements and precision drops of insulating material to cover the damaged No. 4 reactor. It was also equipped with a deactivating liquid tank and underbelly spraying apparatus. In case you're thinking of picking one of these machines up, it will cost you between $20 and $25 million. In terms of stature, it's 40 meters long, with an empty weight of 28,000 kilograms. The HAV Airlander 10 is a unique vessel. Not only is it one of the only vehicles to combine the aerodynamics of a plane with the form of a blimp, it's also the longest aircraft in the world. Comprising a helium airship with auxiliary wing and tail surfaces, it flies using both aerostatic and aerodynamic lift and is powered by 4 diesel engine-driven propellers. After a successful maiden launch in 2012, it was put on the back burner for many years. But after public interest spurred another test flight in 2016, the vessel spun out of control and was destroyed during landing. For a while, it seemed that this event was the nail in the coffin of the Airlander 10. But since then, the firm has announced that they will continue to produce the models, hoping to have them commercially available by 2020. Remember this name, because the Airlander 10 may soon be the standard for luxury in the skies. The blimp is meant to recreate the feeling of a luxury hotel and features a master bedroom, bar, and translucent floor. Of course, this craft will be reserved for the ultra-rich, as it's set to cost more than $30 million. And the vehicle is unwieldy. It measures 92 meters long, has a wingspan of 43 meters, and weighs 20,000 kilograms. With a length of 54 meters, a wingspan of 55 meters, and an astounding weight of 110,000 kilograms, the Tupolev Tu-160 owns the title of largest combat aircraft in the world. Another Russian-built behemoth. It's similar in style to the US-made B-1B Lancer, but it's far larger. The Tu-160 has a range of 12,300 kilometers. It was the second Soviet bomber after the Tu-95 that could reach the United States without in-flight refueling. However, the Tu-160 could never replace the aging Tu-95 due to its astonishing price. Believe it or not, the first model cost the equivalent of $2.3 billion. This may not be a huge amount in comparison to Russia's military budget, but because of its prohibitive price, there are only 36 in the world. On October 12, 2008, Tu-160 bombers were involved in the largest Russian strategic bomber exercise since 1984. A total of 12 bombers, including Tu-160 and Tu-95 aircraft, conducted a series of launches of their cruise missiles. Some bombers launched a full complement of their missiles. It was the first time that a Tu-160 had ever fired a full complement of missiles. Though it has never been tested in battle, the Tu-160 is an intimidating opponent. First introduced by the US military in 1968, the Lockheed C-5 Galaxy is still one of the largest aircraft flying today. With the ability to swallow 50-ton main battle tanks and deposit them on another continent, the Galaxy is an essential part of the global logistics system. For a half-century, the Galaxy has kept America's armed forces, allies, and far-flung scientists well supplied in the most remote corners of the Earth, and it will continue to do the job for the foreseeable future. The 73-meter-long plane weighs a whopping 172,000 kilograms and has a wingspan of almost 68 meters. To put that in perspective, the plane could hold almost 25 million ping-pong balls. It's difficult to comprehend such a flying Goliath, but the US has many of these planes still in commission. It has supported US military operations in all major conflicts, including Vietnam, Iraq, Yugoslavia, and Afghanistan, as well as allied support, such as Israel during the Yom Kippur War, and operations in the Gulf War. Not quite as expensive as its Russian counterpart, the Galaxy cost $225 million. Not to be outdone by the US, Russia developed the AN-124 in the 1980s. The AN-124 remains the largest military transport aircraft in current service and continues to fly military personnel and equipment all over the world. The aircraft is designed for long-range delivery and airdropping of heavy and large-size cargo, including machines, equipment, and troops. Because they cost $100 million each to produce, only 10 were initially built, though the Russian military now has 55 in commission, and the AN-124 used to have even more superlatives. Until the Boeing 747-8F, the AN-124 was for 30 years the world's heaviest gross weight production cargo airplane and second heaviest operating cargo aircraft, behind the one-off Antonov AN-225, a greatly enlarged design based on the AN-124. The massive plane can house 88 crew members, has a length of 69 meters, a wingspan of 73 meters, and weighs 175,000 kilograms. Because of its dimensions, the AN-124 is extremely difficult to handle, leading to several fatal crashes over the years, including 5 in which all crew members on board were killed. The most recent, however, was in 1997. Since then, the Russian military has given more intensive training surrounding the handling of the AN-124. Long before Boeing's series of unfortunate PR faux pas and fatal accidents, they were setting numerous records with a celebrated line of passenger jets. One of the world's 2 main manufacturers of commercial passenger jets, along with Airbus, they have been striving for decades to create the confluence of a maxed-out jumbo jet and a comfortable flying experience. The 747-8 is the largest 747 version, the largest commercial aircraft built in the United States, and the longest operational passenger aircraft in the world. Only in production since 2010, production for this aircraft has been severely backed up, with airlines putting in orders for years in the future. And of course, the owners of these airlines must have extremely deep pockets because every plane costs more than $400 million. In terms of specs, it's 76 meters long, has a wingspan of 68 meters, and has an empty weight of 220,000 kilograms. It's also been adopted as a toy for the ultra-wealthy. For example, the Qatari royal family bought one just to entertain guests in luxury while en route to faraway destinations. The plane features a series of lounges, dining rooms, and master bedrooms. Speaking of Boeing's rival, Airbus, we have their claim to fame. The ultra-massive Airbus 380A, one of the most popular planes in the world. It boasts 500,000 commercial flights carrying over 190 million passengers. This includes more than 300 commercial flights per day, which take off or land around the world every 2 minutes. Unlike most planes, the 380 is a double-decker, meaning it's big enough that 2 levels of passengers are stacked on top of one another. Each seat has its own TV screen, meaning that every passenger can choose if and how they want to be entertained during the long flight. Each plane costs just shy of $450 million to produce. This flying skyscraper measures 72 meters in length and weighs a startling 277,000 kilograms. Powered by Rolls-Royce engines, these planes are considered highly luxurious, and most sell their models to high-end airlines like Lufthansa and Emirates. Antonov AN-225 Mriya, codenamed Cossack by NATO, is a super heavy strategic airlift cargo aircraft. The AN-225 is the world's longest and heaviest airplane ever to take to the air. The first and only AN-225 was completed in 1988. After successfully fulfilling its Soviet military missions, it was mothballed for 8 years. It was then refurbished and reintroduced, and is in commercial operation with Antonov Airlines carrying oversized payloads. The airlifter holds the absolute world records for an airlifted single-item payload of 189,980 kilograms and an airlifted total payload of 253,820 kilograms. Antonov is not currently taking any orders to build new AN-225s, though you can hire the existing model to transport heavy materials for an exorbitant fee. The 84-meter plane weighs an astonishing 285,000 kilos and has a wingspan of 88 meters. Though it is far from the heaviest plane ever built, the H-4 Hercules is a unique plane with an amazing story. Nicknamed the Spruce Goose for its building material, the Hercules was built during the Second World War to transport troops into battle. Only there was one problem. With a shortage of aluminum and other traditional building materials, Hughes Aircraft Company turned to alternative means to build their fleet. There was only one prototype made, and the aircraft made only one brief flight on November 2, 1947, but the Hercules H-4 was constructed entirely from wood. It never became a viable travel option, but the Hercules gained a few distinctions in its short career in the military. The Hercules is the largest flying boat ever built, and it had the largest wingspan of any aircraft that had ever flown until the scaled composite Stratolaunch first flew on April 13, 2019. After all of the effort put into the construction of the Spruce Goose, especially its $23 million budget, its first and last flight would last just 26 seconds. Despite what could be seen as a failure, this plane is one of a kind and lives on in the memories of aviation enthusiasts all over the world. It had an empty weight of 113,399 kilograms, a length of 66.65 meters, and a wingspan of 97.54 meters. A new contender in the world of aviation. The Stratolaunch is officially the world's largest plane. The brainchild of Microsoft billionaire Paul Allen, this behemoth has an empty weight of 226,796 kilograms, a length of 73 meters, and a wingspan of 117 meters. Long considered a pipe dream, the Stratolaunch came to fruition in 2019. The massive airplane, which has a wingspan bigger than a football field and is designed to launch rockets from the air, took off on its maiden test flight from the Mojave Air and Spaceport in Mojave, California on April 13, 2019. Evan Thomas, the Scaled Composites test pilot who flew the plane, said the flight went very well. "I honestly could not have hoped for more on a first flight, especially of an airplane of this complexity and this uniqueness," he said in a brief media call after the flight. Obviously, a plane of this size will pave the way for innovation in the world of aviation.